Hello, my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page, where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more, like tonight's film, 1981's Frightmare. 1981's Frightmare. And copyright 1981. This is put out by Vinegar Syndrome on Blu-ray with a DVD as well and reversible cover art. I actually pre-ordered this about like 3 months ago, like in the summertime, kind of 2016. And I remember seeing the VHS cover, which is not included here, in West Coast Video in the video store during the video, the home video revolution, and during renting videos in the horror sections. But I never rented it as a kid for some reason. You're going through every movie. You can't get through them all, and before you know it, you're an adult and you've, moved on and the video stores are gone. But I read the synopsis and I watched the trailer and I realized, you know what? I gotta save this one for the Halloween season. I gotta save this one for the month of October. And I just watched it tonight for the first time with a bunch of friends, and what a perfect addition to the month of October and to the Halloween season. Let's get into this movie. This is 1981's Frightmare. And not to be confused with I believe, a British horror film called Frightmare. Not to be confused with that. And the tagline is the ultimate nightmare. Experience terror as cold as the grave. Here it is, folks. Frightmare. Wow. Let's get into this movie right here. Essentially what we have a horror host. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking about like the more mainstream film like Fright Night and things like that. This is a very, very different type, not a horror host, actually, a horror actor, because the alternate title for this film was actually the horror star. And so it wasn't a horror host. I'm correcting myself. This was actually, we have a horror actor, a famous horror actor. And he has quite the interesting persona about him and quite the interesting life as well. And not only that, folks, he has quite the interesting death as well. Now, you combine that with a bunch of theater/film students who are called the Horror Society, who actually have their own awesome old multi-floored horror house for the Horror Society. Wouldn't you love your college to have that? Like their own kind of fraternity horror house. What an awesome concept. And their fraternity car that says the Horror Society on the outside is actually a hearse. It's so freaking cool. You have these die-hard horror fans who are big, humongous fans of this particular older horror actor. And they're fans with him when he was alive, and they're fans of him even after he was dead. So, I don't want to give away too much, but let me just say this was an extremely unique, a very well done, atmospheric one of the most atmospheric horror films I've seen. Spooky, eerie, weird, pitch black humor, and excellent acting from this lead horror actor in the film, this older gentleman. And it's really, you're gonna have some tropes here like life after death and things like that you're maybe typically aware of, or a slasher film, and this movie's going to take those concepts that you think you're familiar with and flip them on their head and bring a big injection of class to the affair, and then a big injection of no class as well, no class horror. So let's get into Frightmare. If you think that it's really mixing a lot of different horror tropes and things, it is. And there is great production value with this lead old actor. Great production value. And it's his persona. It's the way he acts. It's what he says. It'll bring a smile to your face. But then you'll say to yourself, why am I smiling? I mean, this man is not so hot. Okay, so let's get into this movie right here, folks. Frightmare. First and foremost, my gosh, yes, the script is unique and it's well done, and the twists and the turns and the way that things pan out and the shifts in tone in the film and things like that. But holy crap, the sound design and the music, the score in this film are they take over probably 99.9% of the running time of this film. The score in this film is so spooky, eerie, horror, Transylvanian, Halloween, the fall, burning leaves, an old castle, Dracula, old horror, and kind of chaotic haunted house. Oh, it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. The atmosphere is so thick in this film. I mean, there's so much fog in this film, and there's so much spooky, eerie cacophony of sounds and music and atmosphere. I keep saying the word atmosphere because the music and the sound design it's. I mean, if there was no picture, if there was no picture at all, you could play this on your porch on Halloween night, or you could play this and turn all the lights off and make up your own movie in your head, and it would spook you. You could go to sleep to this and it would spook you. I mean, it is, wow, what a cacophony of sound and music. Holy crap. Whew, oh my gosh. I don't remember being that overwhelmed before with fog and sound, okay? In an amazing haunted house. 80s haunted house, as one of my friends said. And we got into the style of this film, the cinematography. Actually, supposedly the cinematographer also did the film Just Before Dawn, which is a film that I really love. This is a movie that has a lot of style. And it's interesting because it's almost mixing the horror style of old with the horror style of the 80s. And there are some great lens flares in this one scene that almost look like a kaleidoscope. And there are great, amazing shots that you just want to take pictures of and blow them up into posters and into t-shirts. There's such great, such great shots in this film. You know, oh gosh, especially with the lead actor. And there's slow-mo at the best times, and there's these great shots underneath the staircase and on top of the staircase and in the attic and in the graveyard and in the castles, and the opening credits of the film are just shots of this awesome gothic castle. Wow. And you know, and then you have the horror society's old home, the attic, and the dark, kind of disturbing, bleak basement. There's such great environments in this film, and architecture. Wow. And it's so interesting because this is a film that has, like I said, kind of this high class horror vibe, and then kind of the universal horror vibe, but then mixing in some 80s gore and violence and even some sexuality and really pitch black humor and a lot of style in the cemetery and in the mausoleum and with video. There are videos in this film. You'll see what I mean. And you almost wonder, the lead guy playing the horror actor in this film playing the horror actor, you almost wonder, did they just let him go at times and just kind of do improv and just go? You know, because he was so fantastic in this film. He was so, wow. And here he is right here. If you can see him. That's him. Really, really awesome. Great close-up shots in this film. Great slow-mo. Great, very, very eerie, weird, bizarre situations with terror. And, you know, this is a film that no matter where you are, you hunker down in a room, you know, close the curtains on the windows. And no matter what the weather is outside, no matter where you are, no matter how you feel, how bad work has been, how bad your life has been, whatever. You wanted a haunted house in your house. You wanted the atmosphere. You wanted the fog, but you don't have a fog machine. You wanted the organ, and you wanted the wall of screams and terror and sounds, but you didn't have a record player. You didn't have that soundtrack yourself. This is the movie right here you push play on, and holy crap, this is Frightmare. And I gotta say too, the cast is really cool, especially just the concept of a horror society. I think it's about like three girls, three or four girls, three or four guys, and the girls are all attractive in their own way. You gotta look for this one girl that's really awesome. She has like new wave hair, as the ending credits say, and there's just a little bit of side boob nudity in here, but this is a film that's heavily, it's rated R because of the violence and the gore, and it's some sequences will sucker punch you with the gore, and some sequences will sucker punch you without the gore, and it's very intense. It's very powerful to me, you you have the young people in here, and you have a great scene with a crow. That's all I'm going to say. So, folks, this is Frightmare 1981. Thank you so much for watching the 10 Room Bazaar YouTube page, where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more, like this one. Thank you so much, and please feel free to check out all of my reviews on this YouTube page. Sexploitation, exploitation, 80s sex comedies, horror, underground, weird, bizarre, adult, all of that is in here, and tons of Jess Franco, and more Jess Franco to come, as always. And please feel free to check out my own personal films at my other YouTube channel, youtube.com/poopydiarrhea. Thank you, and happy Halloween.